Hey friends, so I wanted to share something with everybody. There was a live stream broadcast yesterday with I forget his last name now, but Jeffery had him as guest on his broadcast show. And I put that in the description below because I would love for you all to check it out. I'm going to make one adjustment to my dash. There we go. Sometimes the sun glare, photobombs me. Anyway, so I want you guys to pay attention to a lot of what they say. If you can tolerate, I think it's by an hour, or even if you skip over down to about, the whole thing's important. If you can just watch one half during lunchtime, then go to the other half when you have more energy, it's very informative, and it really just kind of sums everything up with where we're at right now in terms of the beginning to now. But I find it very fascinating that everything that I have said on my channel, through my videos, a lot of the things that I spoke from my own intuition and words that I've received that were from the divine, it's been validated in this blog. There's just no way that if this broadcast had been about 2 months ago, before I really started making my videos, different story. But the fact that whatever I thought was an assumption, or I just said, hey, I'm just going to go with it because this is what's going through me right now, they have validated every single video that I've posted on my channel. And so it really allowed me to be very proud of the journey, happy that I trusted these sources that are benevolent, if you may, but also it speaks volumes that there is a Christ consciousness, because it is using us. It's a benefit when it's using us to bring forth the main issue and the main truth. And I tell you what, after listening to that broadcast yesterday, I really said, I'm not any religion anymore. I don't even want to say Christian, It's just because I've learned that, and this is why also too, I refrained from going to scripture and putting that in my videos, because my journey is really about trust and faith and believing. And for other people, it's different. It's by sight. So if the two witnesses were by sight and by believing, let's say if you followed, Global Witness, he has it laid out in text. He has the word. The fact that I know the word, but then I'm coming from a perspective of faith and believing, the two can integrate. And I think that's why a lot of people choose not to push, and then others say, you know what, I'm going to show you the doorknob and you can turn it yourself. So that's what I really love about our community, is that it's faith-based. We all believe and we all know, but then when we're uncovering stuff like, Noah and Moses and Adam and Eve, they've all been deceived. They've all been tricked since the very creation of Adam's world. But there were other worlds and realities created also during that time and before that. And so this is how we're unplugging the matrix right now. We're unplugging ourselves out of what we have been so bonded to for so long. It's really quite fascinating. The more that I dig, the more that I meditate, the more that I hate the word channel, but it's the only word that you can really use that's appropriate to everybody, is channeling. It's it's not like something speaks back to me, but what I receive is, and here's the image that I receive, or here is what resonates with what I channeled. But everything's pretty accurate. I am a little bit suspicious about this weekend because there are what's called gateways, and I tried to say this in a video before, but it didn't really come out right. But our dates, our calendar that we have, they're not just for, it's, September 7th. Like we have to do the math and multiply it. So if you had, let's say, for example, 9 plus 7, which is 16, correct? 1 plus 6 makes a 7. But when you have that slash and then the year, you have 2018, which makes 11. It's 7-11. 7-11 has a lot to do with a rising, a shift, a Christ experience, an apparition, prophetic words, or something will happen that's kind of on the spiritual level. Sorry for the sun glare there, but yeah, we're yet to see what transpires. So days like this, I'll meditate, I'll do something, and then tomorrow, which will be 8, so that's 9 plus 8, which makes a 17. But then when you add it up, it makes an 8. 8 and 11 is another gateway, because 8 is omega, or infinity. 1 is infinite of its own. So if you have 11, that's ongoing, go, 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 go. This is why 9/11 happened, the incident, why they made it on purpose. Because if they took a coding of a date and they chose to do it on an infinite number, it will transpire and go on and on and on until the loophole closes. And the loophole closes this weekend. Yay! Because you had, oh Lord, it's a lot of stuff. It's so much. Why 2001? Who knows? But I know 0 is a common root of 1, and if you have 2 and 1, that makes 3, and then you have 2 zeros in between a 2 and a 1, you have a common root. So all that will be an equation of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If you were to do the math of that, the algebraic math. But anyways, it's just a crazy effed up world we live in now, but we always have to pay attention to the bigger picture. We have to look at history, and history from the beginning will answer to what's going to happen in the end. And then the end doesn't mean end of the world, and I need people to understand that it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of a certain calendar, a certain gateway, a certain loophole. Something's closing. And our great sign that we have coming up this weekend is an asteroid. And I thought it was weird because the asteroid, usually asteroids measure over, a mile long or bigger. That's how they're determined to be asteroids. So I don't understand why this asteroid, it's about 150 feet. But why is it an asteroid? Why isn't it a meteor? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Check this out, you guys, while I'm talking. Wait, it flew away. There's this big hawk. Let's see if I can catch it. Where'd you go? Never mind. Usually when I'm out and about, hawks fly over my car. They go vroom. Anyways, I digress. I just think it's quite fascinating because we have this asteroid coming through, And after hearing the reports, they said, oh, it's like the size of a boat or a 7-story building. And I'm thinking, 150 feet, 7-story building, that doesn't add up. It doesn't. That's why I always like to go in on the news, like when they say, they give you information, and you have to really pay attention to what they're saying and then ask yourself, why did they say it that way? Because something's off. But this asteroid's supposed to come between the moon and the Earth, and it hasn't happened in a long time, anything like that. But it's fascinating because usually asteroids, they pass above the Earth and the moon. I thought, this really tells you a lot about space, that there really isn't an outer space, that there's these objects that usually come in between Earth and the moon, allegedly, or they are 35,000 miles above, the Earth. But it just doesn't match up, because if it's going to be above the Earth and the moon's position's not right above the Earth, then what are they not telling us? Those are questions that I always ask.